Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing? I hope you guys have had a good weekend. All right, let's see who we got here. Janet is in the house. JJ's here. Delbert Jones. Let's see who else we got. Nobody else is saying anything yet. Bobby Farron is here. All right, we got Jason M. Schmidt. Yvonne is here. Dale from Ohio. All right, guys. Well, welcome. All right, Carol Prince. Good to see everybody. A lot of familiar names. All right, Mimi's in the house. Sarah's here. Sue Mitchell. Kimberly Swanson. Hart Miller. All right, Mary Taylor's also in the house. All right, guys. So before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everyone that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here. And so please be decent. If you're in, idiots may come in. If they do, I would ask you please not to engage with them. Let my moderators take care of them. They do it for the attention. So if we don't give them that attention that they seek, then they don't get it. So that's what I would ask. And but so there was just breaking news, like literally 2 minutes ago before the live stream started, and or like 5 minutes. I was reading it really quickly. They have enough votes right now. They're going to be voting tomorrow, and it looks like they're going to reopen the government. They're going to pay back pay to federal workers, and it's only an extension through the end of January. And the only promise that has been given the Democrats, because the leadership of the Democratic Party has been stating that they wanted a continuation for the Affordable Care Act, the subsidies. And so all the Democrats have promised is they will vote on that in December. So that's the promise that they made them. But, they no other guarantee. So it's not like they're going to, yes, we're going to continue the Affordable Care Act and the subsidies. Those subsidies, well, the Affordable Care Act is there, but the subsidies are supposed to run out at the end of December. And so it's looking now like they're going to do a vote on that. They promise them they'll vote on that in December. There's no guarantee that the Democrats are going to get what they want there. But like I said, and we could get right back into another shutdown end of January. But they got a continuing thing through the end of January. So people are going to get paid. The whole video, the stream I originally was going to be talking about that Trump had said, not paying the full benefits for this month. So, seeing is believing with the government. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's all games. It's all games. It's what it comes down to, folks. The whole thing is just it's a big game. So, but it's just they basically kick the can down the road. We get through the holidays. People will be getting their food stamps. The government is going to be refunded, reopened for the short term. And so, it's just like I said. So they've wasted his longest shutdown ever. 40 days, right? Longest shutdown ever. Wasted all kinds of time. But at least you got to look at the silver lining in this whole thing, right? Congress got another whole extra month off. Isn't that nice? They got to sit home for 6 weeks and not have to be in Washington, D.C. and still get paid. They weren't convened in dealing with other issues. They just got to sit home and relax. That's very nice. I think that's so awesome. Too bad more of us couldn't have that, right? Oh, you know what? For the next 6 weeks, just stay home. We'll give you your full pay. You can do whatever you want. It's very nice. Yeah, while people went hungry. Exactly. Exactly. So, well, so what will be the next sort of drama and distraction? Well, there'll be the big thing, they'll be talking about that, here in December about the, continuing the subsidies. Again, the only one that wins if they continue the subsidies, it's not the American people. The Affordable Care Act and Obamacare did not work. It hasn't worked, right? It's not saving people money because at the end of the day, the subsidies are being paid by the American taxpayers to these insurance companies directly. So they're making billions of dollars. So obviously they don't want it to end, So it's just the whole thing is just complete and utter nonsense. Been going on, been doing this for a while. Um, my hope is that people watch this crap that's just happened here with this shutdown and the politics and the games that have been played with that, and they realize how fragile our system really is. Now, I think the majority of people, working people, were not affected by the shutdown. Not really. Okay. Nothing changed for me. Nothing changed for me. But, if you had a government job or if you were getting help from the government, those type of things, yes, people were affected. So, that's the bad part of it, that they played games using people's lives. But my hope is that people look at this, realize what the manipulation, how bad the manipulation was, and they start working on being more independent and being ready for the next thing. Sorry, the Christmas holidays will bring the stock market down to a crash, and the government cannot afford that. Well, like I said, it's just you look at this what they had just done too. So there's a couple things that go with this, and I thought they might end up reaching a deal for a couple of reasons. This is one example. You had 2,000 flights were canceled the other day. Because the air traffic controllers aren't showing up for work, and I can't blame them, right? So, they weren't showing up, and so the flights were down, and we're getting into the busiest travel time of the year. So, that is a tremendous amount of money for the airlines. I mean, just like crazy money for the airlines. And, let alone everybody else that makes money because of people are traveling, Christmas shopping, that's all going to be huge. So there's a lot of money at stake that they can't let just go to continue to play this game. And the Republicans wouldn't cave because they were making, they were like, no, we're not. And then Schumer was talking about, doing the Affordable Care Act subsidies for another year. If they would allow the government to be open if they did that. So, that's just nonsense. Now, will they probably do something? It's hard to say. If the Republicans stand firm and say, no, we're not going to do this, we're going to let this go ahead and run out, then that'll be the end of that, another failed program. Now, again, what I had talked about before, what I want people to remember, okay, ultimately, what does the government want, right? So the Affordable Care Act and the Obama insurance was supposed to save people all kinds of money. What they want to do is if people won't work to feed their kids, in the state should step in and take them. The kids are innocent and don't pick their sorry parents. Well, there's already too much of that, to be honest with you, of the government being in control of kids and stuff like that. You don't want the state raising your children, foster home to foster home. You're talking about a whole lot of other issues, and there's too much of that going on already. So let's look at that aspect for a second. how badly are kids affected by stuff. I mean, I'm not talking about the food stamps or anything like that. The divorce rate is so ridiculously high. So wait, before we do that, let's do this. We got 216 in the chat. We got 64 thumbs up so far, guys. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that. It really does make a big difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I can go from what I'm going to talk about here, like with divorce, with kids and stuff like that. I can go from my own experience, okay? My ex and I should have departed ways well before we did, okay? You know, and I won't get into all the semantics of it and stuff like that, but I'm a product of a divorced family, right? And I did not want that for my kids. I wanted my kids to have mom and dad and grow up with mom and dad, you know, in the same house. And I was fighting for that. I will tell you, and I'll give you an example. I had a buddy of mine who knew what was going on. Him and his wife knew what was going on when I didn't, because my wife was friends with his wife and they were talking, and she was already planning on leaving, and I had no idea. Okay, so he had come to me and he goes, Ed, let me ask you a question. And I went, sure. He goes, if you did not have the kids, would you still be with Amy right now? And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. And like I said, I'm not going to get into he said, she said, what if, you know, whatever. It wasn't working. Okay. But to me, I didn't want the damage done to the kids going through a divorce and the parents playing games and all that nonsense that a lot of times does happen. You look, a great example would be, okay, and I'm going to give another great example, and I'm going to use a Hollywood celebrity. All right. So Britney Spears, Kevin Federline had two boys together. Kevin Federline is a piece of garbage. That's all he is. He's scum. He's trash. Okay. And so they get divorced. He wins full custody of the boys, and she has to pay this exorbitant amount. I think she was paying $20,000 a month in child support and $20,000 a month in alimony to this piece of garbage. And then he's going around saying, you know, now that it's ended, right? Because now he's not getting any more child support because both of the boys are over 18. It was so hard trying to get by on $40,000 a month. Oh, I feel so bad for this guy. Are you kidding me? Really? To have the gall and the nerve to say something like that? But what damage was done? He's turned his sons against their mother, right? And I don't know all the details. I don't know all the relationship information with that. But, you know, they had her in a conservatorship for 12 years. Her parents were controlling. Her dad was controlling everything. It's the whole situation was not good. She had very limited contact with her children, and that's never good for the kids, folks. That's just not, you know. Alex said, Ed, my mom passed away. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's not a fun day. That's for sure. That is not fun. That is for sure. So with the kids are always going to be the innocent victims. And a lot of parents, not all parents, please don't say that I'm saying all parents, but a lot of parents will use their kids as a tool to turn it against the other parent. They'll make stuff up. And if the kids are little, they don't know. They have no idea. Okay. So, you know, it's a bad situation. Divorce is terrible. And again, you know, you have two people that were supposedly in love, and now it's a, you know, okay, hello. Well, it took you, what are we, almost 14 minutes into this, a little over 14 minutes. It took you that long? She's still right here. What? Okay, give me a kiss. Thank you. All right. You got to go down now. Come on, got to get down. Good girl. But again, I'm going to share something with you. Okay, I'm going to share something with you. My daughter didn't tell me this for years. She did not tell me this for years. The day that my ex left, and she did take the kids when she first left. Okay, my daughter told me this is years later. She said, she goes, Mom had said, do you want to stay home from school today? And Heather went, okay, you know. And that was another issue to this another video. Um, so I went, she said, okay. And then Amy packed them up and they left. She felt guilty. She felt like if she had said, no, I want to go to school, that it never would have happened. And so she felt like it was her fault. And I reassured her when she told me this. And like I said, guys, years later, um, and she told me that. I said, honey, it was not your fault. Your mom and I were not getting along anyway. There was a lot of issues. There was a lot of things going on. I said, but it had nothing to do. She goes, yeah, but I felt like if I had gone to school, it wouldn't have happened. I said, it still would have happened. It would have just been another day, you know. But so unfortunately, kids get caught up in this stuff, and it's just not good, you know. No, it's not. They did a test vote tonight, and it looks like they have enough votes to pass it. So they're gonna vote tomorrow to pass it. So they got the appropriate number of votes. You got finally some other people in the Democratic Party are breaking with the rank and file in the leadership. Like I said, this whole thing's been grandstanding a game. Look what we did, and so what they can do now. Okay, let's say I'll give you an example of something here. Okay, so let's say the subsidies run out at the end of December, right? Midterms are going to be next year. Next November will be the midterms. The Democrats can go, we were trying to help you guys get affordable health care, and it's the Republicans that screwed it all up, and that's why people are paying so much. It's all, like I said, this is all politics, guys. All of this is politics. But the tools that are used to get what they want are you and me, right? That's who, the SNAP is coming back. Yes, the SNAP is coming back. Like I said, if they vote to reopen tomorrow and it passes, which it looks like it's going to, full benefits will be issued and people will get their money, and that will be it'll all be back, and the government will be back opened. Like I said, again through the end of January. And then, like I said, then we can deal with this nonsense if they can't come. And you got to understand too, we haven't got a balanced budget yet either. They haven't done that either. So, but it's a game for them. For the rest of us, it's devastating. It's not a pleasant thing. No, and it affects so many people. Not everybody. Like I said, I could care less if the government's there or not, because it's like I think they do more harm than they do good, to be honest with you. And at the end of the day, they want control, control, control. So but now they got to come up with. Hopefully, Chuck Schumer doesn't stop the vote. I don't think he can. I don't think he can stop the vote. So, but anyway, so it's looking like they're going to reopen. Like I said, they did a test run vote tonight, and looks like they have enough votes to pass it. And and then like I said, then 2 months later, we're going to be going through the same stuff again. But and like I said, the one thing that they agreed to was they'll look at continuing the subsidies and vote on that in December, which we already know how that's going to go. Dale from Ohio says, "I'll believe it when I see it." I hear you. There's so much money at hand with keeping the government open or shut down because of the holidays. When you're looking at, and I want you to think about this too, you don't think that the Walmart family, which I'm sure has their hands in pockets in politics, right? $2 billion a month of that SNAP goes to Walmart. People, those, people that are getting their food stamps, of the 9 billion, 2 billion a month is going to Walmart. They don't want that to stop either. And could you blame them if you have a company and a big part of your money is coming from that? Something I want you guys to realize too, okay? And I want you to think about this, because this is also very, very important. We keep hearing how everything is great, how everything is wonderful, but yet, I don't know if you guys saw this one, Wendy's is planning on closing 300 locations. They're closing 300 locations. Why are they closing 300 locations? Because people are not going out and they're not eating fast food. They're just not. Well, they still are, but not as much. There's always going to be. There's a place that there's a certain McDonald's that I pass whenever, if I'm going to Lowe's or wherever I'm going. There's one McDonald's that always, I don't care what time of day it is, folks, they always got a line. Always got a line. One time I went through there and there was no line. So the other one, I don't know if you guys saw this one, Kroger's is going to be closing 60 stores. So the Kroger's grocery chain is going to be closing 60 stores. And they are, Dunkin' has a line all day. Yeah, that one doesn't surprise me either. But, so Kroger's is like the problem is this. I don't know if you guys realize this. The amount of theft per year, like with grocery stores and stuff like that, it's like $40 billion. $40 billion. I want you to think about that. I mean, that number is astronomical, and it doesn't surprise me. Ed, if we can give billions to other countries, I could care less if the Americans are using the system to eat food. Like I said, people in America should not be going hungry. They should not be going hungry. But I will tell you this is my take on it. If you are physically able to work, then you should work. And you should not be, if you're getting food stamps and you want food stamps, then you should work. Denny's is also closing some 150 locations too. Thank you, JJ. Yeah, and what it comes down to is people don't have the money to go out, that discretionary money to go out to just eat, to go to, the restaurants and to do those things. The money's just not there. It's just not there. So what do we got? 278 in the chat, guys. We're at 119 on the thumbs up. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I really do appreciate it, number one, but also it really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. The more interaction, the better for the channel. So that's why I asked for the thumbs up. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Not my Dunkin'. My boyfriend doesn't like the one by me because the coffee is bitter, so we always go someplace else. Yeah, I mean, there's that. But, like I said, you're getting a lot of restaurants that are closing, a lot of grocery stores that are closing. That doesn't show me that the economy is booming. It really doesn't. Now, Aldi's is growing. They are growing, but they're a discount grocery store, And again, a lot of it, folks, to be 100% honest, is location. If you have underperforming stores that are losing money, right? And if, let's say you have a Kroger's and it's in an area, it's not a great area, there's a lot of theft, they're losing money, they're going to get rid of those types of stores. I've seen that happen with Wegmans. Some of you may be familiar with Wegmans. It's a Northeastern store. Started out in Buffalo, New York, and they've expanded and they've really grown. Okay. Well, city of Rochester, there was several Wegmans in the city of Rochester. And then when Wegmans started getting big and really doing well, they started very strategically picking locations that were in better neighborhoods. Okay. I think that the only Wegmans that is still open in the city of Rochester is on East Avenue, which is a more of a higher end area of the city. Um, but yeah, that is that, and that's last. I mean, I don't live there anymore, so I mean, I don't really know. But they closed a ton of the stores. The one store that I used to go to because of where I lived in the city, uh, they had it where you couldn't even take the carts. And this is a Wegmans, okay? You couldn't take the carts out into the parking lot. They had the blocks because so many people were stealing the grocery carts. So if you had like a bunch of stuff in your cart, you'd have to have somebody pull the car up. You'd load up the car, and you have to leave the cart in this little area sectioned off because they wouldn't let you take them, into the parking lot. So think about that. If it's that bad, how bad's the theft? If people are stealing you know, the shopping carts, but it happens a lot. I mean, it just does. But all the fast food restaurants are reducing their restaurants due to lack of finances, the high cost of insurance, and minimum wage because people are having to take in the job to survive. Well, like I said, there's you look at what happened in California. They made the minimum wage in California, right? $20 an hour, I think they did out there. And what was a direct result of that? A lot of the fast food places now you have a kiosk. They have the kiosks here in the different places as well. Like I know they had them in New York. So you could either go to the kiosk first and put your order in. They have it here as well. I've seen it at like Taco Bell. They have a kiosk, but I ain't using a kiosk. I don't work there. All right. I'm going to go up to the counter. You're going to take my order. I'm going to give you my order. I'm going to pay you, and then I'm going to get my food. I don't ever use a kiosk. Or they, if you ever go to the fast food places, the first thing they ask you, especially McDonald's, will you be using the mobile app today? No, I am not. I'm not using a mobile app. So, I've been working for Walmart for 19 years, and Walmart is a great place to work at. I have seen here where I'm at the turnover in certain places. Walmart being one of them. I've seen, like now I love you got anybody watches this channel knows I love Taco Bell. I mean, I love Taco Bell. The turnover in that place, outrageous, outrageous. Um, you know, but it's just different places you go, and it's always new faces all the time. Because the problem, I think that the part of the problem is people don't want to work. They don't want to work, or they and again, it's the way people act nowadays. You know, and so that's why people go, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And it's just I will tell you right now, I will treat you with respect and dignity, but you will do the same to me. If I'm taking care of you in a service capacity, does not give you the right to treat me like I'm a piece of garbage, and it ain't happening. So yeah, Aldi's has the quarter system built into their cards, right? So the incentive for you, right? And that's what I actually love that too about Aldi's. Um, the incentive to you is to bring your cart back to rehook it into the system so you get your quarter back. But I will tell you what, I do shop at Aldi's here and there, and I always grab my quarter and I'm getting ready to go. And there's a lot of times people will go, somebody will be coming back, coming back in, and I'll go, hey, I'll take your cart. And I'll go, okay. So I give them the quarter and then I just take their cart. So I don't have to go up and do that. But I see that, or I'll say that to somebody else, hey, you want this cart? And they're like, yeah. So I take their quarter and do that, But yeah, it's just, it's just, again, that's all part of it, But I always get a free cart at all. I've had that happen too, where somebody's like, I'll give you the quarter. Lad, just take the cart. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I made a quarter. because I always take the cart back to get the quarter. Quarter's a quarter. I'm sorry. I'm definitely always going to take the cart back. So, but like I said, things are not great financially. So, now that they're going to do this vote, they're going to reopen the government. It's just it pushes the can down the road till the end of January, and says that they're going to vote on the subsidies, in December, which we all know where that's going to probably go, but it's just right now, like I said, hopefully this is again everything that has just happened with this whole shutdown and all this stuff. I'm hoping people are waking up and realizing you cannot rely on the government. You can't. You just can't. You have to really be thinking, planning ahead, putting stuff away, being prepared. It's not crazy, okay? It's not crazy to go, saving for a rainy day. You ever hear that one? I'm sure some of you have. You put stuff back, you're ready to go. Something happens, you have stuff that you have and you can rely on, and you're going to be okay. So I order online and pick up at Walmart. There's nothing wrong with that. Matt goes, I love Taco Bell too. Oh, I do. I absolutely love Taco Bell. I absolutely love it. That is one of my, and I'm going to tell you, I don't eat fast food like I used to. But if I'm going out and if I'm hungry, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to stop at Taco Bell. There's that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Airports are $1 for their card system. Can go home with a pocket full of dollar coins if you return a bunch of cards. Oh, see, I haven't been. Last time I flew was when I was doing that motorcycle tour. So obviously I was still living in New York at the time, and I did that motorcycle tour out west. That's the last time I flew. And before then, it had been forever, just because of the nonsense that you got to go through to try to fly, So, it just Taco Bell and White Castle are strangely addicting. It is what it is. We all have our favorite, so we all have our favorites. But but like I said, McDonald's and the worst, like now, McDonald's fries, they used to be really good back in the day. McDonald's fries were the absolute best. They're still fairly decent, but not like they used to be. And it was funny because like Burger King's fries were always crap, and now they're better. How's the motorcycle? Fine, fine. But when they went away from doing their fries and whatever fat they were doing before, and they changed it, that's when everything became different with their fries. But that's just my opinion. So, but yeah, there's like I said, there's places that are always going to do well. I'm going to tell you what, like I know, like whenever I go to New York, and I've talked about this place before. In Greece, New York, on 104, okay, there's a place called Pino's, and it's an Italian, Italian place, and they do cold cuts and they do food. You go in there and it's all done there. It's not all processed garbage. It's all done there, and their meatballs. Oh my god! And its sauce. Heather and I will go. We'll usually go and we'll pick up 2 chicken parm dinners. All right. So you get this great big meal that you get. And then and so with that, you get like, you get 2 meatballs with that with the chicken parm. So you get the 2 slices of chicken parm. You get the meatballs, and then you get something else. I can't remember what we normally get, but so you get like those 3 things. And so that's that meal. and then we'll go ahead and we'll get like a dozen more meatballs, and we'll literally sit in the car, and I'll be driving, and Heather will start cutting the meatballs, and she'll, like, because it'll be in another separate container, a lot of sauce, unbelievable, and she'll be like feeding me, and then I'll have a bite, she'll have a bite, unbelievable, fantastic, fantastic food. So if anybody is in the Rochester, New York area, and you get up to Greece, New York, up on Ridge Road, which is 104, Pino's, look it up. Definitely highly recommend it. Fantastic, fantastic food. And you go out of there hungry, that's on you. Get it to go. You can eat it there if you want to, but it's not like a sit-down restaurant. It's not. It's like a delicatessen type of place. But they have great subs. They have cold cuts, and it's all family run. It's a whole family run business, and man, they're on it. They are absolutely on it. So those type of places. Oh yeah, they make good lasagna, JJ. Like I said, everything that they have there, it's all made there. It's not like it's shipped in and frozen and they unthaw it and cook it and give it to you. No, it's all made there. So, and they're always busy. Always. Not one time have I ever been there and it's not busy. You have to get a ticket. As you walk in the door, you get your ticket. And it's not, and here's the best part about this place. It's not like there's one or two people waiting on you, okay? There's like 5 or 6 people. So, they'll go, ticket 157. Yes, that's me. What would you like? You get your order. That person that takes your order is going to make it, get it, take you up to the register, and cash you out. It goes really, really quickly, really quickly. So it's not like you're waiting forever for anything. And like I said, they're fantastic. But I love Italian food. I should have been Italian because I really, really love Italian food. So, but that's my recommendation. You ever get up to Greece, New York, 104, which is Ridge Road, and it's a long road. You look up Pino's, Pinios, Pino's. It's amazing. So, do you remember when Kmart used to make sandwiches? Kmart's not even around anymore, are they? I don't even think they're around anymore. Remember Chase Pickens? Some of you might. They're not around anymore. So many of them are not around. I'll tell you another one that's not around anymore. So I was, as a little kid, we lived in a town called Albion. So if anybody from Albion, New York, you're going to know what I'm talking about if you're older, okay? They had a Carol's in town. That was the restaurant, was Carol's, fast food restaurant. Well, they got taken over by Burger King. It's still a Burger King. Last time I was out there, which was eons ago, that Burger King is still there, and it's still in the same location where it used to be Carol's when I was a little kid. So, those things, you don't forget. So, like in high school, I worked at Bell's in Caledonia, New York. What's my favorite kind of pizza? Pepperoni and pineapple is my favorite. Love pepperoni and pineapple on a pizza. Lots of cheese. Yep. So that is absolute. I mean, I could just, Oh, Kathleen says I live in Albion. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about then. You know exactly where that Burger King is because there's only the one. But yeah, you look back at the different places. Like, I was going to say I worked at Bell's in Caledonia when I was in high school. Worked in the produce department. Well, they're gone. It's now a Surefine. So in Caledonia. So, but the pineapples haters are going to start. But I'll tell you what, it's a good taste. I like the taste of pepperoni and pineapple on a pizza. So to me, it tastes good. So, oh, drive-in movies. Oh my God, I can tell you some drive-in movie stories. Get about 3, 4 people in the trunk. So you go up, you drive up. You know, anybody's ever been to a drive-in movie? You'd go to the drive-in movie. You'd have 2 people in the car, and this is back when I had a '72 Chevy Impala, so I had a huge, huge car. You could fit 3 or 4 people in the trunk of that car. So you'd go up there, you'd get your 2 tickets that you would pay for to watch your movie, and then you'd go up and you had the speaker. They had the big screen, and you put your window down part way, and you put the speaker on your window, and then you'd let everybody out of the trunk, right? Because it's dark, because they can't do the movies in the daylight, so it's dark. So you let the people out. Everybody gets in the car. You go to the shack in the center where you got your popcorn and your candy and your drink, and we would watch the movies. So, too funny. Very, very bringing back that memory. Oh my God, can't. But, but anyway, we had $1 a night at the drive-in. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. The Ford Galaxy had a spacious trunk. There you go. That's too funny. But anyway, going back to what I was going to say too, like with talking about kids being affected, you know, divorce is a horrible thing. The problem in our society now is I just saw a statistic. Okay, it said in 1970, by the age of 30, 91% of women were married. This was 1970. Now, by the age of 30, only 26% are married by the time they're 30 years old. The problem with our society right now with marriage is very simple. I'm going to give you my opinion. The court system makes it so easy to quit when you're in a marriage that you don't like, and instead of trying to work it out, if you're in an abusive relationship, obviously you need to get out of those type of relationships. Nobody should be getting hit on either side. The men shouldn't be, the women shouldn't be. Okay, that if it's an abusive relationship, then by all means. But a lot of people, and I'm going to use women because that's my experience of dealing with women, obviously, they get bored. They're not happy anymore. They're not being fulfilled, and they want adventures or whatever the case may be. So the system is set up. Well, if you leave and you take the kids, he's got to pay, and then they bankrupt the guy and they break the guy. That happens. It happens a lot. Okay. And it's unfortunate. It really, really, truly is unfortunate. Instead of trying to work things out, it's easier just to walk away. But again, who gets affected in that moment? The children are going to get affected because I want to be with mom, I want to be with dad, and in a lot of cases the courts are designed to screw men. They're designed to screw men. And if you don't believe that, go live in New York for a while and you'll find out. I was very, very fortunate, folks. I'll be honest with you. I had my kids. And she wanted to go, let her go, but don't take my kids. I had told her early on, if you ever want to leave me, you can go ahead and go, but don't think you're taking my kids. And I was very fortunate that she was very lazy. So, and I'm not trying to bash. I'm not. I really am not. I'm just saying I was very, very fortunate that because my thing was, my kids are my whole world, always have been my whole world. So, I wanted to make sure that they were squared away and that they were good and everything was fine. And, so, in my case, I said to my lawyer, I said, you make sure that it says in this divorce, the children will go to school where the father resides, because I knew I was going to be moving. So I wanted to make that real clear that wherever I went to, that's where they were going to school. And, and that's what we did. And we ended up in a nice school district, and, you know, Eddie never did. The school districts for him were crap. You know, the system itself for him with his autism were crap. And I will never say they weren't, because they were. Whatever. The only school I will say this. I will say this. The first, he was in a 611 out in Hilton, New York, and that was through 6th grade. Okay, so he was in that from kindergarten through 6th grade. Fantastic. They were awesome, awesome, and he did well with that setting. Okay, had the same teacher. There was 6 kids in the class. You had the teacher, you had the one-on-ones, the whole 9 yards. From that point on, garbage. So, yeah, just garbage. But anyway, Ed, marriage is like the government. When something goes wrong, the kids and the people take the brunt of the hurt. Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. And people get bitter. I'm still single and not married, but I'm still looking. Yeah, you know what? I did it twice. I did it twice, and I I can't sit here and say I would never do it again. And I have said that. I have said that. I'm never doing it again. But it would take somebody extremely special for me to even think about doing it again. And it would not be right away. We would have to be together for a while, make sure things were copacetic, and all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, it's just, it is what it is. But people change. Oh, is it egg count time already? Holy crap, JJ. I'm just rambling away here. All right. I guess we can do that. All right. So what do we got? 273 in the chat. We got 174 thumbs up. So let's try to get to 200. See if we can hit that number. So that's 26 more thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that. It really does make a huge, huge difference, again, with the algorithms. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Okay. Denise said, Ed, the scariest words you hear in a marriage from a spouse is, I deserve to be happy. No, the scariest words you want to hear with a spouse, Denise, is, you're supposed to take care of me. That's the scariest word. So go ahead, you guys, go ahead and start doing. I'm counting everybody on here that's already guessed. So, yeah, because that's what I heard. I'm just going to share one snippet with you. I had said to my ex-wife, I said, it's not that you should help me, because you should. And I was only asking her to go back to work part-time, folks. That's, part-time. I said, it's not that you should help me, because you should. I said, but you should want to help me, because you see how stressed out I am. And her reply to me was, well, you're supposed to take care of me. And I said to her at that point, I said, just because we got married doesn't mean you get the rest of your life off. So, well, we know how that worked out. So, yeah. Didn't work out well, but it happens. I will tell you this right now. I will always love my ex-wife. She was, to me, the love of my life. Okay. The way it ended, very badly, not good. I have zero hatred for the woman. I don't, but I wish her well. I wish she could be happy, but, it is what it is. But, yeah, I just, all right. If you had the same exact guess, no, of course not. Silly. Somebody asked, is she working now? No, absolutely not. No, I won't get into all the details, but no, she never went back to work. So, and she's not with anybody. So, if you had the same exact guess is Janet Humphrey with 9 eggs today. Yes, for Miss Betty White, and 2 of the Easter eggers laid today. then you are 100% correct. So congratulations to Janet. You have won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So there we go. But no, yeah, oh no, I laugh when people, is she working now? No, 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 no. So she lived with her, she lived with her brother for like 2 years. She moved in with a guy after that, and that lasted a grand total of 4 months. And I won't get into the whole details of that. And then she moved in with her mom and her stepfather after that. And then she's been there ever since. And her mom passed away a couple of years ago, but she's still in the house there. So, and that's where Eddie's at too. So, but yeah, like I said, I just, none of it's my problem anymore. Not my headache, So, like I said, I don't wish her bad. But yeah, I will tell you what I've said to people. Okay, yeah, there's no I in teamwork. Exactly. Um, what I have said to people was this: after the hurt and the time, I didn't date for 2 years after we went our separate ways. I couldn't. I just was not emotionally there. Couldn't do it. The whole 9 yards. But looking back, I told people this. I said the biggest favor she ever did for me was leave, because I never would have, folks. I'll tell you what, I never would have, and I was not happy, and I was working myself to death, and getting no help. So that is what it is. And like I said, I'm not going to get into all the rest of it, but we were together a grand total of 11 years. And in that time, she worked for 3 months in 11 years. So, yeah, I could go through a laundry list of stuff, yeah. Anyway, it's all water under the bridge now. That's the way I look at it. It's all water under the bridge. Long time ago, don't make no difference. I was just sitting there thinking the other day, kids are now 24. And when she left, the kids were 10. So it's already been 14 years, 14 in December. So my sister is divorced and I'm living with her in a townhouse in Victoria, Minnesota. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. No side hustle, no home business. No. Well, I had, am I dating now? I'm not seeing anybody at the moment. No. I live in the middle of the woods. I don't like to leave here if I don't have to leave here. Most of the people that I meet, I'm an old man now. So it's not, and I'm not settling. That's the other part now. I'm not settling. Like I said, if the right person came along, then sure. But as of right now, I really have not since I've been down here. When I was in New York, I had dated a couple different girls, but it just like I said, I've always been picky, and I'm not going to settle. I don't have to be with anybody. There's not like I have to have a woman in my life. I don't. Would I like to? Sure. The companionship, somebody to talk to with, your hopes and dreams and what you want to do or whatever, that's all well and good. But, I don't need that. And so many people do. So JJ goes, all about libido. Well, I will tell you, not trying to be graphic. Never said no, ever. Not one time. Never had a headache. Never was too tired. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Oh my God. TMI. Hey, Anyway. Oh, reliable. Exactly. Always reliable. I had somebody one time, I won't get into that. Never mind. I was gonna go down a different path, and we're gonna let that go. Too funny. Always keep it real. Um, the funny thing is, some people, like me, and some people can't stand me. But nobody can ever say I'm not straight up because that's who I am. And some people that makes them uncomfortable. Um, I don't sugarcoat it. I say it like it is. Um, you know, Robert said, I'm glad at 50 the urges has faded. Yes, Abel, I don't give a F anymore. Oh no, no. I wake up like a baby holding an apple still every day. So yeah, no, there's nope, the urge has not diminished. Has not diminished. So, but I actually somebody's asked me if I insulated the beehive. I have not, and the reason why I went and talked with my bee people, and they said you can, but you don't have to. Um, I do have to go down and take the one box off of the one beehive, and I'll probably do that this week. But Rosie Jacobs said, and I totally understand. I had a similar experience with my ex where he did absolutely not a blessed thing. And it was running me ragged, and I just couldn't do it anymore. Yeah, you get to that point. You get to that point, Rose. And it happens to both sides. People that are users are going to find the people that are givers. That's what they do. So, and then I see other people. I have a couple of couples that I went to high school with that they got married in high school and they're together still. And good for them, good for them, that they were able to find that person, their person, and that they're able to work things out and stay together. Because you're not always going to like each other. You know what I mean? You're not. That's reality. You're never always going to be like, oh, this is the best thing in the world. It's not sometimes, but you got to work through stuff. So, but yeah. So my husband and I have been married for 23 years. This is his third marriage. He says third time's a charm. Well, like I said, again, things happen. Um, is your temperatures getting colder? 9 days you supposedly get about 18 inches in 2 day period. We're definitely going to be getting colder. There's a chance of snow. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything in the forecast that's saying, you know, that we're going to get a lot of snow. I don't think we're going to be getting a lot of snow. So, but yeah, it's just. Well, see, here's the other problem too. It's like, finding somebody that's compatible with you. That's hard. It's hard. Do I live in New York? Not anymore. No, no. I left New York. I live in West Virginia now. Yep, I live in West Virginia. Love it down here. Absolutely love it down here. We still get to change the seasons, but I don't get 100 inches of snow anymore a year. So, I mean, I don't miss that. I don't miss 6 months of winter. So, but yeah, like I said, life is short, guys. You got to enjoy it. Try to enjoy it. Be happy if you can be. So we're at what 198, guys. We need two more thumbs up. Two more thumbs up to hit 200. So anyway, I am going to leave you all with my favorite saying, of course, STD, step, thing, and day. Uh, one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to accomplish in life, whatever you're trying to do, if you set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen, the only one that's going to stop you from achieving those goals is going to be you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay positive. Stay away from negativity and negative people. They only bring you down. Um, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So please be safe, guys. Keep prepping. Take care of your business. Don't rely on this freaking government. They're crap. they're not there for us. Never have been, never will be. Okay? Take care of yourselves. Be ready for when that other shoe drops, because when it does, it's not going to be good. Carolyn says, I'm 71 and my boyfriend is 7.5 years younger than me. He's a giver. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. All right, guys, have a great night. So we're 211, so we went right past 200. That's awesome. Be safe. I will talk to you guys later. I will see you for the live stream on Wednesday. All right. I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.